Hello, brothers and sisters. This is 10 Minutes of Truth. Let's see what we can do. Today, we're talking about hate and anger, and you may be wondering, why so serious? Well, like the wise philosopher Russell Brand once said, life is not a theme park, and if you want to ride on a roller coaster, well, that's what Disney World is for. So buckle up as we embark on a spiritual roller coaster, exploring how the Bible can guide us in overcoming hate and anger with just a touch of laughter. All right? And let's start this off with a laugh. Do not get mad at me for my corny jokes. In the words of Proverbs 17:22, a cheerful heart is good medicine, but a crushed spirit dries up the bone. There's no better way to start than with a smile on our faces, as laughter is the best remedy for our crushed spirits. So here's a joke for you. How did Moses make his coffee? He brews it. Whoo! All right, now let's dive into the topic, shall we? Hate and anger, the ugly twins. Hate and anger are like these pesky twins who can't help but cause trouble. They've been around since the beginning of time, plaguing our hearts and our minds. Cain, in a fit of jealousy and anger, murdered his brother Abel. Genesis 4:8. The Bible is riddled with such examples, reminding us the dangers of succumbing to these emotions. I don't have the exact quote on me right this second, but Ria brought it up, and it was so enlightening, and it was basically saying that those who act quickly in anger, act foolishly, and it's such an interesting thought, because if you've ever been mad at somebody, and you reply immediately on a text, or you're on the phone and you start yelling, you're going to say something that you either don't mean, or you didn't mean to say it that way, or even if you mean it. And this is the tricky part with anger, and that even if you mean it, even if it's true, sometimes we have to know when and where and how to say things. So it doesn't mean that you're necessarily wrong. It means that if you would have calmed your anger, did not let the emotions overcome you and succumb you, then you would have been able to handle the situation appropriately. Maybe the words that you're saying to someone that they need to hear would be better heard when you were not angry and saying it to them. And that brings us to taming the Hulk within. We've all had those moments when we felt like the Incredible Hulk, ready to burst out of our clothes and smash everything in sight. I mean, you're just mad. Someone just infuriated you. They bumped into your girlfriend. They, called you this. They said your mama was that, and you're just ready. A lot of people say they go black, or their eyes go red, and fear not. The Bible has got our back in this. In Ephesians 4:26 through 27, we're told, in your anger, do not sin. Do not let the sun go down while you are still angry. And do not give the devil a foothold. The key to that is to recognize and address our anger before it spirals out of control, giving the devil a foothold in our lives. We hold on to anger and hatred towards people and to things, and that makes it impossible for us to find the joy and happiness in our lives. It makes it hard for us to find the ability to do as God would want us to do. It is very hard to forgive someone when you are filled with a furious hate towards them, but God would want us to forgive. It doesn't necessarily mean he wants us to forget. We must be wise in what we do, but we must be able to forgive. There's going to be people in your lives that are, quote unquote, unforgivable. But it is for us as Christians to understand that God has created all men and women, and all of them are his children. And who are we to hate the children of God? So, going on to the next, love conquers all. To overcome hate, we need to embrace love. Remember the story of the Good Samaritan, Luke 10:27 through 37. Even though the Samaritans and Jews did not get along, the Samaritan chose to show love and compassion to the injured man. As Jesus said, love your enemies, do good to those who hate you, Bless those who curse you and pray for those who mistreat you. Luke 6:27-28. We must strive to show love even when it is difficult. And that is the key part of that, in my opinion. Even when it is difficult. So when you are as mad as you can possibly be at someone, when someone has mistreated you, abused you, or hurt you the most, is when you must be at your best, because it is for within you to stand up and praise God and bring his mercy into this world. It is up to you to be the light in your life and to be the light for others around you. We have to save the people who are being used as vessels of evil for the devil. We have to save people who have not found Christ. We have to save people who need us because they are lost. And that is one of the hardest things to do. And it is one of the biggest burdens of being a good Christian, but it is so important. And not just for the people that you are saving, but it is important for your own soul to not be overwhelmed by this toxicity. And I mean toxicity. Toxicity of anger and hatred that just boils over. And it makes every day worse for you because the hatred inside of you. And now we finally get to go to the most important part of all of this, laughter, because that is the antidote to anger. And before I even read what I have written, if you ever watched a comedy special where maybe it's a topic that you might be sensitive about, or you might be like, oh, it makes me upset when I hear about this, whether it's politics, whether it's anything, and you listen to a comedian that you like and they make a joke about it and you laugh. And in that moment, even if you're upset about the topic, you can enjoy yourself and you can laugh, and the anger fades away. And in those moments of releasing that anger, you are then able to see more clearly. And if you need to accomplish something, you're able to accomplish it. You know what I mean? When it comes to solving the problem that made you angry, instead of just having anger in that problem. So in the heat of the moment, it is not always easy to find humor. However, laughter can help diffuse tense situations and bring levity to our lives. In Proverbs 15:1, we read, "A gentle answer turns away wrath, but a harsh word stirs up anger." The next time you're fuming, try to find the humor in the situation, and it might save the day. Next time your wife or your kids make you mad, find what about that is hilarious. When you come home and you're starving and dinner isn't made and you've worked 13 hours and you're mad and you're like, why isn't dinner made? Don't do that. Maybe that's the first thought in your head. But find something that you can do, something that you can say that would be humorous. Remember that your wife may have had a hard day. Remember that your kids may misbehave because they don't know better, or because they were hyperactive that day, or maybe they're sad. Maybe, there's many different reasons why people can do things that will make you angry. And the best way to figure out why and to solve the issue is to start by calming yourself down. And one of the greatest ways to calm yourself down is to laugh about it. So we'll get into the conclusion of it, and I'll talk a little bit more. I only have a minute, so it won't be very long. But as we conclude our roller coaster ride, let's remember that overcoming hate and anger requires a touch of laughter and a whole lot of love. And I love that. I love that. I love love. Hey, we gotta love love. But seriously, I love that. It's so hard to just keep reading when you read this and you're like, oh, that was fire. Who wrote that? Oh, just kidding. But it takes a whole lot of love. That is an emotion that has been overwhelming me lately. I was filled with hate. I was filled with resentment for people in my past. And now I have been overwhelmed by love, and it feels so good. Feels so good. So, in the words of 1 Peter 4:8, above all, love each other deeply, because love covers a multitude of sins. So the next time you feel the Hulk within you, take a deep breath, find something to laugh about, and let love move you. Let love direct you. Because I promise you, that love, that emotion, that is God. That hate, that anger, that boiling over hope, that is the devil. Let's choose God. All right, guys, I appreciate it. Thank you for listening. I am ready to keep this rolling. Please tune in tomorrow for the next installment. And that's sadness. Anger, then sadness. What are we doing? It gets better. Don't worry about it.